Beijing. We have the latest on the outbreak that has the world on edge. South Korea is up to 4 confirmed cases of the coronavirus. Airport screening has been stepped up as President Moon Jae-in demands particularly intense screening of people arriving from Wuhan, the epicenter of the outbreak. Plus, Democrats demand former U.S. National Security Advisor John Bolton give evidence in President Trump's impeachment trial in the Senate. This after a draft of Bolton's upcoming book appears to undercut a key argument of the defense. So, only one place to start today, and that's with our coverage of the new coronavirus outbreak in a significant new development. The Chinese capital has reported its first death caused by the new virus. The city of Beijing's confirmation came on the same day as the World Health Organization modified the global risk from the coronavirus to high from moderate. Kim Jae-hee starts us off.
Beijing on Monday reported its first death from the deadly coronavirus that's sweeping China and popping up in countries around the world. China's state-run CCTV said the 50-year-old man recently visited Wuhan, the epicenter of the outbreak, and was confirmed to have the virus last week. The World Health Organization on Monday also said there had been an error in its previous reports, which incorrectly said the global risk from the coronavirus was moderate. The WHO now says the risk is very high in China and high at the global level. A spokeswoman for the WHO reassured that the change was only due to an error in the wording. The WHO last week fell short of declaring the virus an international public health emergency, a designation only used for the most severe outbreaks. More than 2,900 people are now said to have been infected by the coronavirus, with the death toll spiking to 82. A 9-month-old baby and a 4-year-old child in Beijing have also been confirmed to have the coronavirus. About 80% of the newly confirmed patients are in their 30s and 40s. Many more countries are reporting confirmed cases as well, including the US, Canada, and Australia. On Monday, Chinese Premier Li Keqiang visited Wuhan to inspect local efforts to contain the disease. In a bid to restrict further spread of the virus, Wuhan and more than a dozen other Chinese cities remain on lockdown, and the Chinese government has extended the week-long Lunar New Year holiday by 3 days to February 2nd. Kim Jae-hee, Arirang News.
Meanwhile, Germany has confirmed its first case of the coronavirus. A spokesman for the Bavarian Health Ministry on Monday said the man is from a town in the area which is 30 kilometers southwest of the city of Munich. We'll have more updates on this in our later newscast. And the South Korean government has hiked its health warning to emergency and vowed all-out efforts to contain the new coronavirus. This strong step comes after South Korea confirmed its 4th case in a 55-year-old South Korean man who recently visited Wuhan, which is the epicenter of this outbreak. As concerns continue to rise, local authorities are imposing tougher quarantine standards and dispatching military and medical personnel as well. Lee Kyung-eun reports.
South Korea on Monday escalated its health warning to a level 3 or emergency, up 1 notch from the previous caution, as the deadly coronavirus outbreak that began in the Chinese city of Wuhan continues to spread around the world, with the Seoul government confirming its 4th case earlier in the day in 55-year-old Korean man who had recently visited the city of Wuhan.
The infection of the new coronavirus has expanded to all parts of China, and there is a growing possibility of the virus spreading across local communities in South Korea. The government, therefore, has escalated the infectious disease alert by 1 notch to emergency level.
In efforts to contain the virus, the South Korean government is imposing tougher screening measures at major international airports and more strict quarantine standards starting Tuesday. Those who have visited China's Hubei province in the last 2 weeks and show symptoms such as fever or respiratory problems will now be classified, suspected, and will be placed under quarantine. So far, these measures have been limited to those who have traveled to Wuhan and show pneumonia symptoms. Under the toughened controls, the South Korean government has the right to classify anyone entering the country from any part of China showing symptoms of pneumonia as patient under investigation and place them in isolation. Those who show mild symptoms will also be actively monitored by health authorities. Seoul's defense ministry said on Monday that it will mobilize some 100 military doctors, nurses, soldiers, and dispatch them to 21 seaports and airports across the country in order to help carry out these measures. Lee Kyung-eun, Arirang News.
President Moon Jae-in has ordered that anyone coming into South Korea from the Chinese city of Wuhan be thoroughly checked out before they're allowed to come into the country. The government is also said to be considering sending a chartered plane to Wuhan to bring stranded South Koreans back home. Shin Se-min with the details.
President Moon Jae-in has ordered a thorough investigation into all people entering South Korea from the Chinese city of Wuhan. His remarks on Monday came on the same day that South Korea reported its fourth confirmed case of the coronavirus, just a week after the country confirmed its first case. The president, during a meeting with his senior secretaries on the last day of the Lunar New Year holiday, demanded all possible measures to prevent the virus from spreading in South Korea. An official at the top office explained that thorough checkups on all people coming in from the city of Wuhan would include those who had entered the country before January 19th, a day before South Korea's first confirmed case. The president also ordered the mobilization of military medical staff and facilities if necessary, and to monitor the potential economic impact of the outbreak. As the country pours all its efforts into containing the spread of the coronavirus, the president even postponed briefings initially scheduled for Thursday from the Health and Gender Equality Ministries on their policy goals for 2020. Prime Minister Chung Se-kyun, visiting a local medical facility in Seoul, said the country should deal with the virus in a preemptive manner, using its experience of coping with MERS and SARS outbreaks before.
Working as one, the government, local authorities, and medical institutions will do the best they can for the safety of the Korean people.
The South Korean government is also looking to send a chartered flight to Wuhan, the virus epicenter, and a city currently on lockdown, to evacuate South Korean nationals still left in the Chinese city. And that could happen as early as this week. According to Korean Consulate General, some 600 South Koreans are believed to be in Wuhan, with more than 500 of them having expressed a desire to return home. Shin Se-min, Arirang News.
Now, the South Korean government is going to draw up to around $18 million of emergency funds in a bid to contain the spread of the coronavirus. Finance Minister Hong Nam-gi said Tuesday that the government will use the emergency funds set aside for tackling epidemics and help minimize the impact of the virus. He also vowed to stabilize financial markets should they get any more volatile than they currently are. Stocks in Asia fell on Tuesday morning after Wall Street plunged into the red overnight amid fears that the coronavirus outbreak would hurt China's economic growth and the travel sector. South Korea's benchmark Kospi dropped more than 2% at the start of trading today. Now, while the impeachment trial of US President Donald Trump rumbles on in the Senate, the New York Times has raised fresh allegations that may back the Democrats' accusations against President Trump. This is the paper found and published an unpublished manuscript of an upcoming book by President Trump's former top national security aide, John Bolton. For more on this and other news from around the world, let's turn to our Yoon Jung-min. Jung-min, first up, tell us how President Trump has responded to this story.
Sure, Mark. President Trump said the claims made in the unpublished book manuscript by his former national security advisor John Bolton were false. The New York Times cited the manuscript of an unpublished book by Bolton, in which he said Trump told him he wanted to freeze security aid to Ukraine until the country investigates former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter over alleged corruption. Democrats have been insisting that the president used the $391 million in military aid to Ukraine campaign that was approved by Congress for his own personal political gain in the 2020 election, instead of using it to help Ukraine combat pro-Russia separatists, which it was supposed to. However, sitting alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu in the Oval Office on Monday, President Trump said nothing of the sort was said to Bolton. Take a look.
Well, I haven't seen a manuscript, but I can tell you nothing was ever said to John Bolton, but I have not seen a manuscript. I guess he's writing a book. I have not seen that.
With this latest development, Republicans in the Senate are facing fresh pressure to allow witnesses and new evidence in the impeachment trial. However, so far, they have refused to do so. Senator John Barrasso said the leak is merely to drive sales of Bolton's book, saying that in his eyes, the facts of the case remain the same. The United States has confirmed one of its military planes has crashed in Afghanistan's Ghazni province, but is disputing claims it was brought down. The U.S. military said in a statement that they are currently investigating Monday's incident, but there are no indications the crash was caused by enemy fire. It did not reveal how many were on board or if anyone was killed. Earlier, Taliban said the U.S. plane on an intelligence mission was brought down in Ghazni province and all the crew members, including ranking officers, were killed. A senior U.S. defense official, however, said no senior U.S. official was killed. A legend of basketball and global icon Kobe Bryant died over the weekend in a tragic helicopter crash that was also killed his teenage daughter. The 41-year-old, his 13-year-old daughter, and 7 others were killed when the helicopter they were on crashed in California. The death of the player has sent shockwaves throughout the NBA and stunned fans around the world. Lee Seung-jae reports.
Kobe Bryant, one of the greatest players to ever pick up a basketball, died at the age of 41 on Sunday after the helicopter he was on crashed in Calabasas, California, some 50 kilometers northwest of downtown Los Angeles. All 9 people aboard the helicopter were killed, along with Kobe and his 13-year-old daughter, Gianna. Tributes continue to pour in for Kobe as the world still tries to process his tragic death. NBA teams paid tribute to the legendary Laker, beginning the games with an 8-second backcourt violation, followed by a 24-second violation. Kobe began his career wearing the Lakers' number 8 jersey and finished his career with the number 24. KBL teams also paid tribute to him by doing the same in South Korea. Italians also mourn the NBA legend as they remember a lesser-known chapter in Bryant's life when he used to play in the streets of Italy when his father played basketball there.
Kobe was that little guy who came here. We were 17 or 18 years old. He was 10. He had that grit that champions have. Even when they are young, they show that strength, that tenacity to have success, and this was visible.
The U.S. Senate even opened Monday's session of the impeachment trial of President Trump with a prayer for Bryant and his daughter.
As millions mourn the deaths of Kobe and Gianna Bryant and those who died with them, we think about life's brevity, uncertainty, and legacy. Remind us that we all have a limited time on earth to leave the world better than we found it. As this impeachment process unfolds, give our senators the desire to make the most of their time on earth. Teach them how to live, O God, and lead them along the path of honesty.
Kobe spent all 20 years of his illustrious NBA career with the LA Lakers, where he won 5 NBA championships and was an NBA All-Star a staggering 18 times. He's the NBA's 4th highest career scorer with 33,643 points. As he was once quoted saying, "Heroes come and go, but legends are forever." Lee Seung-jae, Arirang News.
Hundreds of Holocaust survivors have commemorated with world leaders at the Auschwitz concentration camp on 75th anniversary of its liberation. On Monday, over 200 survivors and delegates from more than 50 countries gathered at the Nazi death camp to mark the day, calling for continued efforts to combat anti-Semitism. Among the delegates were German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier and other leaders from Israel, Belgium, and Spain. The German president also met with 3 survivors in Berlin before traveling with them to Auschwitz.
Now, in other news, South Korea's economic growth in 2020 is forecast to be slower than last year, at 2.5%. According to an OECD report Tuesday, it projected a 0.2% drop from its previous forecast of 2.7% that was made in November 2019. The OECD attributed the downward revision to South Korea's falling working-age population and declining labour productivity. South Korea's drop was one of the fastest in the OECD, only trailing Turkey, Ireland and Iceland. Ageing populations and climate change, just 2 of the problems the world faces these days, problems that could lead to a shortage of food. However, local researchers say green bio could be the solution. But unfortunately, the industry is currently underfunded and underdeveloped. Our Hong Yu takes us to South Korea's biggest green bio research centre and files this report.
As the world population continues to rise, the demand for food grows. In 2050, the minimum amount of food required by people around the world will be 50% more than what was needed in 2012, according to the United Nations. Currently, 25% of farmable land on Earth has deteriorated to the point that it can no longer produce as much food as before. Not to mention the natural disasters caused by global warming that are also lowering food production. A potential solution to that is what people call green bio. Green bio uses biotechnology to help facilitate farming and create food resources.
In this greenhouse, scientists are testing chemicals that can prevent pests, especially those that are already immune to existing pesticides.
Green bio also includes coming up with new materials that can be used for farming food produce.
We have developed a new biomaterial that can kill mulberry thrips, which is a pest for most crops.
This new material is biodegradable and thus eco-friendly when spread on soil. With this, there will be a reduced need for harmful pesticide sprays on farms. The global market size of such industry in 2018 is estimated to be around $100 billion. But looking at its market size only within South Korea, it is so small that there hasn't been much data collected. $856 million is the total amount of both private and public investment dedicated for the green bio industry in Korea.
In order to strengthen this industry, it is crucial to make a product that can compete in the global market. And for that, continuous investment in R&D is necessary.
Recently, the government has announced a plan to invest and nurture the green bio industry.
We expect the importance of green bio to grow bigger as environmental issues such as plastic waste and energy resource depletion have become a social problem. In response, we are coming up with customized measures and investment for this industry.
With different sectors of the bio industry strengthened, the government believes bio could become a strategic industry to succeed the semiconductor industry in the years to come. Hong Yu, Arirang News.
Now, you might not know it, but Parasite is not the only South Korean film in the running for an Oscar at the upcoming Academy Awards. In the Absence, a documentary about the absolutely tragic 2014 Sewol Ferry sinking, is nominated in the category of Best Documentary Short Subject. Kan Hyung-woo with the details.
The film In the Absence tells the story of April 16, 2014, when the Sewol Ferry sank off the South Korean coast, leading to over 300 deaths, the majority of them high school students on a field trip. The film has been nominated for the Best Documentary Short Subject category at the Oscars, becoming the first Korean documentary to compete in the category. It's been almost 6 years since one of the country's worst maritime disasters, but many people still resent the government's search and rescue operations at the time and its follow-up steps, which appear to try to hide the truth.
What I focused on was the pain of the bereaved families and divers. I wanted to see where that pain began.
Using recorded phone calls from the tragic day, the film subtly yet powerfully tells the story of what happened on April 16 and what followed. Of course, the 29-minute-long documentary could not have been possible without the help of the bereaved families.
The bereaved family said, "Let the world know of the incident" by earning an Oscar nomination when I was making the film. I'm really glad I could do that.
In 2018, the film won the Grand Jury Prize at America's largest documentary festival, Doc NYC. It also took the first prize at the World Press Photo Digital Storytelling Contest for long form in 2019.
At film festivals, people feel the movie. After screening, their eyes are red and some are wiping away their tears.
In the Absence will compete against 4 American films at the 92nd Academy Awards on February 9th. Kanyu, Arirang News.
Now, on a lighter note, the success of the viral children's song Baby Shark is not only due to it being super intensely catchy, but also because it's based on a familiar campfire song that has been sung by kids in North America for many years now. The song's unexpected commercial success has prompted an American children's music performer to sue the South Korean education entertainment brand behind the song for copyright violation. Kim Hyo-sun tells us more.
South Korean children's education entertainment brand Pinkfong's Baby Shark is an undeniable global phenomenon. The company's flagship video series has millions upon millions of views while making a surprise landing to the Billboard Hot 100 song chart. However, American children's music performer Johnny Only filed a complaint with the Seoul Central District Court in October 2018 against Smart Study, the parent company of Pinkfong, with the first hearing taking place last year. He's demanding over $4,000 as compensation for plagiarizing his song. Do they really sound similar? Johnny Only says Pinkfong's Baby Shark is brighter than the original Campfire song, but insists the composition of the musical instruments is also very similar with his song.
Compared to the original song, the music has a clear melody and beat. It also has an additional harmony. This is all evidence of plagiarism.
Smart Study dismisses Only's claim, saying Baby Shark is based on a traditional sing-along chant, which has passed to public domain. It adds the song was adopted, rearranged, and the lyrics were changed from the original version. The Korea Copyright Commission is now set to review both songs before the case can proceed further. Now all that's left to be seen is who truly owns the song that got the whole world whistling along to its catchy hook. Kim Hyo-sun, Arirang News.
Good morning. Those of you in the east will need to be aware of winter precipitation along with strong gusts and expect to see heavy snowfall with heavy snow alerts in place for mountainous regions in Gangwon-do and Gyeongsang-pukto provinces. So 5 to 30 centimeters of snowfall is in store there, while the rest of the east coast will see 10 to 40 millimeters of rainfall into Friday. It's shaping up to be another day with mild temperatures. Readings will gradually drop as the week goes on though, but there should not be a major cold snap. The high in afternoon this afternoon, Seoul will get up to 9 degrees Celsius and double-digit highs for most major cities, while mostly cloudy skies along with good air will dominate the country today. Southern provinces will see rain tomorrow, while the East Coast will see wintry precipitation into Friday. That's Korea for you, and here's the international weather for viewers around the world.
Well, that's all we have for now on this Tuesday morning here in Seoul. Stay tuned to Arirang TV. Our next newscast is at noon, Korea time. So until then, goodbye.
Arirang's news program, The Point, covers relevant issues that are shaping the world, from major political events to local stories here in Korea. The host Daniel and a group of panelists have in-depth discussions with compelling stories to keep you informed and up-to-date on world affairs. Tune in to The Point to find out more. How is the Fourth Industrial Revolution changing various industries in Korea? By exploring different domestic economic patterns and scientific advancements, we'll get a glimpse at